Good morning, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world. His Royal Highness Mufasa says it's Friday already and we haven't got any work done on this ship. We're going to work on it today. We've been working on the chicken coop all week. We almost got it ready. We'll look at that later on. But today, I'm going to pull all these pins out so that we can turn the ship over on this side. Work on this side. We're going to start running some planks over here. We got to get down to the same spot that we are now over here. So we've got a good start on that side already. Mr. Mufasa's barking at the trash man. So I got to pull all these pins. Then we'll start on some hard planking over here. And the reason it's hard is because we got all those bends and cuts to make like we did on this side. Let's see all them bends and cuts. We got like 3 or 4 boards to do, and then we start this hard stuff. Yeah. Almost threading it. So might as well, while we're filming, go out. My shop is in total disarray, isn't it? Yes. We have changed our mind on the chicken doors. I was going to use these actuators, but my wife shut me down because I had a hard time getting a hold of them. I need an old bicycle wheel or something I can use for a big pulley or shiv to put in this. And she doesn't want to wait. I got all this rewired and tested and everything ready to go. Well, we'll have it for backup when the cheap chicken doors fail. I found some that are battery powered. But we got a good amount of the construction done. Got to set that roll of chicken wire up on some sawhorses and start peeling it off and closing this on both sides. But we got it ready to enclose. So the hard part was getting this hardware cloth down in the ground everywhere before we put the chicken wire on the enclosure. But we got that all in. And we got these hoops mounted ready to hold the chicken wire. And we ran some electrical in here. So now we got power and lights. I got this set up so when you turn the switch on, the light comes on and one of these receptacles is hot with the switch, and then the other one is hot all the time. So we can have a fan or heat lamp or whatever. And we got some other stuff ready. That's the feed bucket. We'll put that up on blocks. We got 4 big giant boxes full of hemp shavings that we'll put down here in the coop. And we got our roosting bars ready. There's a big long one there, and there's one here. And then there's another roosting bar over here. And a few small details. I got to put some screen on these cracks and openings in different places. Got the egg box ready. The nesting box for the egg layers. But the main thing was to get ready for chickens in a few weeks. So we have one chicken door here that's going to be controlled by light, and another one over here, and that's where I was going to mount the actuator up top and let that big pulley open and close these chicken doors with a rope. But my wife says we got to get to work, get this done so we can have our chickens soon. So we're gonna get a regular, I think I found some that were $45 a piece, and use 3 AA batteries. When it gets dark out, it'll automatically close, and the next morning it'll automatically open. So we ordered 2 of those from Amazon. Get us started on that. But we also did a bunch of work in the lean-to back here. We organized a lot of stuff. I still got my tools out because I don't want to put them up until I'm done. And we found some good deals on some big cash feeders for making raised beds out of. So we've been working and shopping. Did a little planting bed over here with some bromeliads. My wife did this compost pile. Used up some of the old fence posts. And we burned some wood up, scrap wood up, so we can have some ash for the chicken bath. Chickens like to take baths in dust, and part of that dust is ashes. So we'll put some sand and some regular dirt in there with those ashes, and that'll be their chicken bath, because they like to take baths in the dirt. So let me get to work on pulling these pins out. Once I get the ship flipped over, we'll start filming some planking. We'll Okay. Film some planking. Action dog. Okay, so we got all the pins out of the other side. Got our first board. We had these already bent up from the 4 that we did on the other side. I did 8 of them at the same time with the same bend. The only thing extra we had to do was to hold them in place and then cut them where they meet at the seam of the rib. So where that mark is at, a little glue on one side, and then a liberal amount of glue on all these other spots. We're getting a little Friday rain today, so it's rather dark outside. There in Florida, springtime, we'll start to get a fairly consistent rain. I think the forecast my wife said is for the next 3 days we're going to get rain, which is good. We haven't had any for a couple weeks, so that's ready. We cock a pin in our pliers. Get that first position correct. Make sure it's in that wood good. Get all those pins in there. I didn't bend the board exactly to match this arc. We did do a full 90 on the front there, but you can see how it's bowing up. So before I started, I put a little bit of water with a brush on the board. Let's soak in some water a little bit to make it pliable enough to get around this arc here. I think the birds like the rain too. Oop. See how I butchered that pin? Sacrificial. One more on the end here. I've told my viewers before that I sand off both sides of the ends that were cut here, the edges, so that when we do put that pin in the end, we know it's going to split. And that split's going to make it open up wider than we want. So if you sand off ahead of time a little bit off the very edges, then when it splits and opens up, it's not going to impede the next board, create a bump there. And one of the reasons I'm scraping this glue off now is because before we come back and do the next board here in the front, we're going to go all the way down to the end with 2 more new boards. And if I'm just going to start again right on the front, I wouldn't waste time cleaning the glue off here, but because I am going to be a few minutes before we come back to this front again, I'm going to clean that off so it's not in our way for the next board. Which is just going to be a full piece. You can see the seam marks there. Try to offset every other one. Get my pencil. We got a little glue in that corner there. We don't want that to be in the way. We are hanging off there a little bit too much, but when we pin that, it should be fine. As long as it's got a lot of glue on it. So now we'll just cut that over in the little oscillating bandsaw. And then I'm going to, on this board, because it's in the middle, see how I sanded the very end of it there? And because this board's in the middle, we want to do it on both ends. So when we do split it, putting that pin in, it's not going to spread out and stick down in the way of the next board. So let's put the glue on it. Keep on trucking. first two slivers on, the 4 leading planks down to this point to match the other side. And then you can see the slivers start in this area. So we got 2 new ones on just now, leaving room for these fat ones to come up. And it takes us all the way to the end except for this last board, which, including the 2 slivers, will be 6. This last board is ready to go on, and then 1 more to finish that out. So we did pretty good, even though we only got 1 day working on it this week. And here it is, Saturday afternoon in Florida. We had a good strong rain yesterday, and it's real overcast, and humidity is like 85% today. So it may rain later on this afternoon. And I did a time calculation. A regular board took me about 25 minutes to get from there all the way to the back. And these sliver boards, they're taking a lot longer because the cutting and the shaping and bending them to fit. So you're looking at average about 30 minutes per board going all the way across, which is 3 boards really. Some places 4 later on, but at least we're working our way toward the part of the ship that will get easy again, but we got to get past this big section here. You can see there's probably, I think it was 8 or 10 that we counted to get to where we're back to full boards again. Might even be 12. But we'll get back on that next week. Hopefully we'll have some full days on it. Maybe catch up to this other side. Hopefully. And in the meantime, I got my little window unit air conditioner running, and that's making it bearable in here to work with that cool breeze blowing on us. So we got to get down to like that before we're ready for the next section, which is going to be a bunch of slivers again. But we're getting there. I printed out some history of the Royal Sun from Wikipedia, and it says it only had 104 cannons. I think this cut sheet that came with the museum view that we were taking pictures of in that case says 112 guns, a 1,200 man crew. So I'll have to read some of that history from Wikipedia. It's similar to this here because there was a fire ship that attacked the Royal Sun while it was beached because of battle. It didn't beach because of weather, it beached itself near a port because of battle for repairs. And during the time while it was beached, it got attacked again, and we'll read that next week I got those sheets printed out from Wikipedia that give us a good sense of the history, a few battles that it was in. The ship isn't well known because it didn't last long, but it was one of the large, well, they call them the great ships because of its size. And the French were known for very elaborate, a lot of decorations. So we'll have fun with that. Thanks for watching.